in Sydney as well. A festive atmosphere for the second match of Arsenal's tour. Let's check the starting lineups now. As expected, the Gunners select a brand new 11 from the team that took to the pitch against Sydney FC. David Ospina gets his first minutes. Likewise for regular captain Laurent Koscielny. Ainsley Maitland-Niles was part of England's recent Under-20 World Cup triumph and career. It's a first Arsenal start for Alexander Lacazette, the record signing after his goal-scoring debut off the bench 2 nights ago. He links up with fellow Frenchman Olivier Giroud. That's the starting 11 for Arsene Wenger's men. Western Sydney, a combination of the familiar and the new. Former Perth captain Josh Risdon starts for the second time pre-season for the Wanderers, as does Rolly Bonavaccia. They are 2 key signings. Jacob Milik gets a chance to impress after injuries plagued his last 12 months, and after being exposed in the Asian Champions League last campaign, Abraham Majok, the teenager, makes just his 3rd start. Marquee signing Oriol Riera is on the bench. There's the referee, our most celebrated of recent times, Jared Gillett, multiple award winner in the A-League and now an international referee in his own right. And Arsene Wenger pleased with his team's performance against Sydney FC. The only element missing was in the finishing for the Professor. And you can see the benches packed full of quality. Of course, Per Mertesacker scored the other night. Mesut Ozil was outstanding, as was Reece Nelson, the winger. Cohen Bramwell, the left-sided player. So plenty of precocious talent with Joe Willock also performing well for Arsenal. And we've got Riera on the bench with Mark Tokic, a young up-and-coming star. Chris Hurd, the former Aston Villa man, on the bench. Michael Thwaite, a lot of A-League experience and a smattering of Socceroos exposure as well. And Carl Cementi, a young striker with great potential for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Tony Popovic, a man that you know really well. You shared plenty of locker rooms with him over the years. Maury, what will be his approach tonight for the match, you reckon?
Look, his boys will be ready for the start of this match. An interesting thing will be how long they can stay in it. They'll be well prepared. Tony Popovic, very meticulous and very detailed, and he will just be looking for a positive performance, knowing that it's pre-season and looking for something that they can build on.
Countdown's on for match 2 of Arsenal's Australian tour. And the Gunners were locked and loaded in game 1. An impressive array of precocious talent made it easy on the eye. Arsenal battered Sydney FC 2 nights ago. The Wanderers will no doubt have gone to school for their first pre-season test, their first major test in any case, at the start of another chapter in their short but impressive history. All these players have certainly been exposed for the Wanderers to top-level football, but perhaps not at this level, Craig.
No, that's right. Like I said, sometimes it's great. You get that opportunity. You sometimes see with players, they can potentially sink, but it's a great opportunity. You learn a lot about characters, about players being tested, and this is just a great opportunity. Arsenal started off very patient, work in a good area. Chamberlain.
Oxlade-Chamberlain in behind. It's good defending by Brendan Hamill. Ilnetti started the move. He's playing in the centre of a back 3 for Arsenal. Of course, a very versatile player, can play it in holding midfield. Here's Monreal, the Spaniard. It's going to be a real test for the wide players of Western Sydney. So much pace and ingenuity out wide for Arsenal.
The great thing is you've seen it already in a very, very short period of time here. And also against Sydney FC on many occasions. Not only do Arsenal have a good patient build-up, but when they decide to go, their players are in fantastic positions between lines and able to go forward, which means that your opponent's under pressure straight away.
Ilnetti scored in the Cup of Nations final for Egypt against Cameroon, but the Cameroonians overcame their opponents to score an unlikely victory in that final. The ball in the centre there for Bonavaccia, looking for Majok. Bonavaccia, interesting signing for Tony Popovic. Plenty of good football in his time with Wellington Phoenix.
There's certainly no doubting his quality. He's shown in Australia what he's capable of. Probably playing in a more favourable position as a 10, in direct replacement, I think, for Mitch Nichols, but certainly a player that can add goals to his game and is very efficient.
Here's Koscielny, Aaron Ramsey. Turned wide by El Neni. Maitland-Niles is a wide player of great quality. Good turn by Lacazette. Great shift to speed too. Looking for its second goal of the tournament. And denied by a late clearance there from Jack Clisby. It's still not dead, Miles. And it was a deflected shot there from Aaron Ramsey, who appeals for handball, but there's a pulsating move there from Arsenal.
It's great. It's great use of the body there for Lacazette. Good feet, explosive. Cuts back inside. Shot on goal. Janjetovic, a good save. Keeps Western Sydney Wanderers in the game early doors.
Lustig, Montevarchi lost his footing. Here's Iwobi, the flying winger. Deflected wide by Giroud. Excellent ball. In support is the flying Oxlade-Chamberlain, but even he can't
he's not that quick.
Foot on the afterburners. We know Arsene Wenger's template of a player is athletically dynamic, but also technically very smart. And time again, the professor has pulled the right reins in his recruiting policy.
He hasn't often got it wrong, has he?
We heard Ray Parlour before the match, though, Maury, talk about the pressure that Wenger's on with the extension of his contract for 2 more years and the expectation of Lacazette, and indeed not playing in Europe for the first time, or Champions League football at least for the first time in 21 years.
Yeah, I think, look, Ray Parlour was very honest in terms of finishing 5th place for Arsenal was certainly not good enough.
Decent run there by Maitland-Niles. He played all matches for England's recent under-20 World Cup victory, where they beat Venezuela in the final. That's the first Youth World Cup at any level for England. Certainly does give great hope that the next generation is going to produce the goods.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. There's a lot of push towards youth development, but it's important that you actually get those results. And to win a World Cup at under-20 level, I think, will be enormous for England. The next thing that needs to happen is that translates to first-team football regularly in the EPL for these players.
And they were bundled out by Germany in the under-21 European Championships on penalties, if you like.
Yeah, unfortunately, penalties to Germany, which is something they've experienced before as well, haven't they?
It's almost the football cliche, isn't it? Here's Monreal. Maitland-Niles. Lacazette drops deep. Circulating possession through El Neni. Koscielny. Side flag up on Olivier Giroud.
And that was a good line. Good line. Brave line from Western Sydney Wanderers. Giroud's in behind. He's trying to stretch that defence in an offside position. So it's very disciplined and well organised from Western Sydney Wanderers.
Backus rewarded for his consistent work last season with the new deal. Of course, their 4 Ollie Roos are missing for Western Sydney. Excellent first touch there. And Kusakami almost the recipient of some good fortune, chested down there by Lustig. I was going to mention the likes of Sotirio and Lachlan Scott, Keanu Backus, and Astropotometers with the Olympic squad.
Yeah, they've got quite a presence there.
Here's Iwobi getting in behind impressively. Good near post ball. And it's swept in behind there by Brendan Hamill for a corner to Arsenal.
But again, it was a great ball in. But Western Sydney Wanderers get themselves in good positions. They're in control of that. They're in control of that. In the end, okay, you need to deal with it in the back post area. But again, it's a quality ball in. It's asking questions. Western Sydney Wanderers handled that quite well.
Risdon with that final touch. Still getting used to seeing Josh Risdon in a Wanderer strip after all those successful years with Perth Glory. Near post corner. Well defended by Cornthwaite, who wears the captain's armband tonight. Great reward for his persistence. And they're in behind once more, Arsenal. And that's easy pickings for Janjetovic. Vedran Janjetovic made the switch across town from Sydney FC, and Andrew Redmayne, who performed so well the other night, went the opposite way.
And he showed, even in Australia, you know, to go from Sydney FC to Western Sydney Wanderers, and to handle that move as well as what Janjetovic did, shows a lot about his character. So, you know, they've got a really good goalkeeper there. He doesn't seem too fazed by anything, really. He'd be out there, and you see him there. He's marshalling his troops at the back there. He's vocal. He'll be enjoying this atmosphere and this occasion.
Of course, he played a part in that dramatic elimination final where Brisbane Roar edged out Western Sydney last season with Kusakami in that heartbreaking penalty shootout, which, in my view, was one of the best quality shootouts I've ever seen. It was unbelievable drama.
Certainly, it went on forever, and unfortunately, with the penalty shootout, there's a player that, you know, he's going to miss and a team that's going to lose. And, you know, Jumpai is a fantastic player. Unfortunately, he was the one that was a missing penalty on that particular day.
Bacchus fouled by Lacazette. Free kick, Western Sydney. Alexander Lacazette, minimal time on the pitch, but maximum impact the other night, making a perfect run. Just did well to stay in front of Arsenal's number 9.
Yeah, no, used his body well there, Bacchus. Lacazette didn't want to give him any respite there, but it was a dream debut for Lacazette the other night to be able to score in your first game. Now his first start for his club. He'll be looking to get on the score sheet again, but Arsene Wenger's come out and also said it's important for your strikers to get off straight away.
It's an errant pass from Melling, who's lunging in. It's a rash challenge from the former Adelaide United man and Melbourne City. Had his injury concerns last campaign, but he's an all-action midfielder, as we know.
He was looking to recover there and to put the mistake right. He lunges in. Ramsey just evades the challenge, gets a free kick in a good area. Delivery here, expect to be a good one, a flat kind of cross with good pace on it.
We saw Per Mertesacker score the other night, a rare goal for Arsenal, but Laurent Koscielny's a lot more regular on the score sheet. Let's see if he can get it in the action. Oxlade-Chamberlain deflected wide, and it's cracked in by Monreal. Arsenal come again. Oxlade-Chamberlain. Iwobi's switch flanks. That's a lovely touch by Chamberlain. Giroud tries the side volley and just got caught really in the end by some strong defensive shape by Western Sydney.
It's great. It's great work in the wider areas, and you look at the early part of the game there. It's a fake there. It's poor defending, in all honesty, but it's a difference, you know, the quality to be able to make things happen in that final third. Arsenal certainly have those players, and causing some very early issues for the Wanderers in the wider areas.
How will Olivier Giroud fit into Arsene Wenger's plans? That's the big question, with the emergence of Lacazette and what Alexis Sanchez will do. Who knows, but there's plenty of speculation he'll move on.
There was plenty also, like last season you had a lot of talk about Giroud with Sanchez, and it was pretty unlike Arsenal, to be honest. But big players continue to perform, get their opportunities, and I think Giroud has done that.
Lovely run by Maitland-Niles, accepting from Iwobi. You see the flexibility of Iwobi initially popping up on the right flank, but then drifting inside on the left. Yeah, there's a lot of question marks out there. Even Kylian Mbappe, the precocious young talent from Monaco, semi-finalist, of course, in the UEFA Champions League. He's on the shopping list of Arsene Wenger. I think he may be a little bit out of his reach, given the fact that he's picked up Lacazette at such big money.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Mbappe's waking up every morning, probably being linked to a new club every day, and he's certainly going to be sport with choice, and it'll be interesting to see what decision he makes.
The defending there by El Nedi. And here's a chance for Iwobi. Hamill tracks back, he read that well. Brendan Hamill. Good composed defending. Risdon will be a real asset for Western Sydney this season. Certainly provides a lot going forward. It's a nice ball there from Jumpai to Clisby, asking a lot of Lustica. Interesting comments recently by Martin Keown, comparing Laurent Koscielny in the Tony Adams and Sol Campbell class at Arsenal.
Well, Martin Keown, he would know. I mean, he was a very aggressive, determined central defender. I think that improved incredibly under Arsene Wenger. So for him to come out and say that, Koscielny, we heard Ray Parlour talking prior to the game, Arsenal need more leaders.
Space here for Lustica. Oh, he had the pass too for Jumpai, who was making a decent run. They turn it over Western Sydney. We saw that too often with Sydney FC the other night. It was the teenage brigade that turns it on for Arsenal.
It's when the game actually gets stretched like that. Western Sydney Wanderers attacking really should do better with a final pass from Lustica, and then again Arsenal then get an opportunity to go on attack, and that's when teams can be most vulnerable.
Well, then he pushing up. Shaka. Oxlade-Chamberlain. Goes the short option, just the flick pass intended for Lacazette. They'll be reading that man's intentions quite well. We know he loves turning defenders. I think he dines out on it. French cuisine like.
Very, very much so. He looks a really, really clever player. To score the amount of goals that he has scored leading into his move at Arsenal, you don't do that if you're a poor player. But he also looks as if he has some range to his game, some flexibility.
Just his consistency too. It's been super impressive. Alexander Lacazette, 15, 27, 21, 28. That's in the league. 37 in all competitions last season for Lyon. He finished 4th in Ligue 1.
And also maybe utilised in a different position to maybe what now he's playing with Arsenal.
Good build up. Cross delivered near post. Well saved by Janjetovic.
Look confident, Janjetovic. Come out again. It's important that not only do you come out, he's made a good decision, but it's got to stick. So important if you've got a goalkeeper that is confident, makes good decisions, it breeds confidence, gives your back four, gives your defence a lot of confidence, and that flows through the team. Good save there. Like he's seen it late. It's important that it stuck.
Maitland-Niles. Iwobi drops in. Had a impressive start to the last Premier League season, but his form did drop off. Turned into the path of Marjoc, but neat defending by El Nedi.
Again, that's where it's got to be a little bit smarter. Just one possession and giving it away cheaply without a great deal of pressure on the ball from Arsenal.
See Tony Popovic just really urging the Wanderers back four to keep their shape. Iwobi. Maitland-Niles. Compact area. Can they break through? And it's swept away by Risdon. Josh Risdon had plenty of good years for Perth Glory. Many thought he may go overseas with his exposure to the national team.
I think it's an interesting year for Josh Risdon. He's done fantastically well at Perth Glory. He did get a chance here. Sorry, he did get a chance at national team level. He got a little sniff. Be interesting to see what he can do at Western Sydney Wanderers, being away from Perth, whether or not his career can kick on, whether he can go to a new level.
There's the Swiss Granit Xhaka, who came with plenty of expectation with big dollars. Delivered late in the season. Good shape, but a little bit too close to the end Janjetovic, of course, has a goalkeeping coach, a man that's got plenty of European experience in Željko Kalac.
He's obviously worked a lot with Željko. Sydney FC. Željko's obviously seen a lot that he liked to push, I guess, is hard to get him to Western Sydney Wanderers. And look, he is a goalkeeper that he's probably come into the national or the A-League a little bit later, but he's improved out of sight in the few years that he's been playing games. Every game he seems to grow. It's so important to have a goalkeeper, an experienced goalkeeper. Gives you 7 to 9 points in a season, can really put you in a strong position for winning titles.
A lot of rotation of players in the A-League in the pre-season. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Sure, the recruiting's not done by Arsene Wenger just yet. Just to add to what has been a very good start for him to regenerate his team. Here's Oxlade-Chamberlain, hangs it up back post. Big chance for Lacazette. First touch was straight into the defender, Risden. Jumpai looks to break.
It's a big chance. Again, pace allows Arsenal to get in down the flank. A lofted cross to the back post. Josh Risden gets caught out a little bit. Lacazette, you would expect to do a little bit better. He takes maybe a poor touch. It gives Cornthwaite an opportunity to get across and block, but a good opportunity.
He certainly didn't catch the arm of Robbie Cornthwaite. More ball to arm, really. We saw a pretty average decision the other night with Sydney FC conceding a penalty that clearly hit. It was Seb Roll on the back. That's what happens when you don't have the video assistant in your corner.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's difficult for the referees. You get a really quick sighting of it. The time I actually thought it was a penalty, we were the benefit of watching a replay. Clearly it wasn't. Justice was done in the end, although I don't think it was because Welbeck wanted to miss. It was a good save by Redmayne.
Shot with the back heel nearly came off. Bonavacci was making that angled run. And now Arsenal come out. He's a mobile, instinctive forward, Abraham Majok. Had a couple of starts in the Asian Champions League for Western Sydney. Still only 18 years of age. So a raw talent waiting to be polished by Tony Popovic.
And being able to be exposed to these kind of opportunities. I haven't seen too much of him, if I'm being honest. But again, opportunities like this will certainly allow him to develop further.
Iwobi. Oxlade-Chamberlain played in. Giroud still not cleared by Western Sydney. Ramsey with some dexterity, and that's a well-positioned cross, but athletic save by Janjetovic.
Be interesting to see whether Arsenal are getting in good wide areas. They're putting the ball in behind. Western Sydney Wanderers getting set nice and early. They've defended quite well. The cutbacks look as if they're going to be the best opportunity in the way that the Wanderers getting in so early. So it'll be interesting to see whether Arsenal look to utilise a cutback when they're in those wider opportunities.
The 8 of the current squad were involved last season for Tony Popovic. That'll swell to 12 when he gets his Olympic players back. It has been an annual pilgrimage, really, his turnover of squad members.
Yeah, and look, it's not easy in Australia. You have a big turnover of players, but we see that every year. And it's important that you have, and I'm sure Tony does, and the Wanderers have good connections, good networks, because otherwise, you find yourself maybe recycling the players that have already sort of like been about. We've got a lot of Australian players that are overseas that maybe just haven't cracked it, that may be interested in coming back as well.
Granit Xhaka can't beat the first man. Bonavacci should tidy up. Well, Chris Hurd's very much in that category. He had some Premier League exposure with Aston Villa, then dropped to League One last season with Gillingham from memory. So he's one player that really wants to recalibrate, revitalise his career.
Yeah, and we've seen other players. We've seen, you know, the likes of James Treacy also coming back. Reece Williams in recent years going to Perth and now at Melbourne Victory.
Chamberlain shows too much of it to Bacchus, athletic midfielder. Plenty of endeavour from Kieran Bacchus. The sliding challenge was fair. Jared Gillett right on the spot. Good call.
Yeah, again, Chamberlain doesn't give up. He doesn't give up. Bacchus does well to get away, but again, the pace of these players and the ability to be able to recover.
Good angle ball. Mashok makes an excellent run too. Pass from Lustica. Abraham Mashok, 2 bites of it, but no cross. Risdon. Bonavacia did well. Giroud just helping out his defence. Likewise, Lacazette, so the striker's getting stuck in. And Ospina with some clever footwork. The Colombian showing his South American pedigree.
He certainly didn't panic there, did he?
Remember, he was a surprise selection in the FA Cup final, edging Petr Cech out of the starting lineup. Of course, Arsenal beating Chelsea.
A little bit off the ball stuff there with Cornthwaite and Giroud. Cornthwaite holding his own. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Giroud will be wanting to have it his own way. Cornthwaite not allowing that to happen. Goes down a little bit too easy for my liking, but Cornthwaite done nothing wrong there.
Robbie Cornthwaite lost his place between rounds 4 and 14 last season. He looked like he was really in the wilderness, so to recapture the form, partner up with the young Jonathan Aspro-Potomidas, and to win the captain's armband is a real testament to his perseverance and belief.
That's right. I mean, we touch on it all the time. Be a free kick there. We touch on it all the time. To be a professional, to really kick on as a footballer, you've got to be resilient.
Certainly was a resilient challenge by Jack Clisby.
We've seen so many free kicks like this in the last couple of games with Arsenal, and they're smart enough to be able to get there just before and be able to lift it over a leg. Thankfully, there's been no bad challenges. It's just been, you know, a competitive nature, but they're smart in terms of how they get their free kicks.
The outswinger of Oxlade-Chamberlain, or the inswinger of Granit Xhaka. Well placed too! And the header's on target from Olivier Giroud. It was a free header too.
Yeah, and I think the linesman ends up giving offside there. Giroud that ends up getting the header. I don't think he's offside, but Koscielny makes a forward run. And once it goes into that area, I guess the linesman's no choice but to put the flag up.
Bacchus. Risdon takes on Maitland-Niles. Bonavacia. Arsenal under pressure, but it's hacked away by Monreal. Strong body from Giroud, who was clipped in the process. Lacazette has to slow the tempo down. Cushion ball. Across here to Iwobi. Chips it forward, and they have enough defensive cover, and indeed Janjetovic coming off his line very sharply. Alex Iwobi, born in Nigeria, plays his international football with Nigeria despite being an England youth international.
It's good to see that the Wanderers are certainly testing Arsenal. They're certainly asking more questions than what were asked of them the other night so far. Some opportunities with the right choice of pass and the right time. to maybe take some opportunities. Jumpai made a good run earlier on, and if that ball was played in the right space, he was in.
Netty with an excellent ball. Maitland-Niles takes on Risdon, but it was really disciplined defending by Josh Risdon. Dacus places Cornthwaite under pressure. Knocks it up for Majok. Almost nipped in front of El Nedi. Certainly working hard. Majok making a nuisance of himself to the central defenders of Arsenal, chasing down a lot of things. Offside. Niles, Aaron Ramsey should have been flagged. Giroud lays it off for Lacazette. Iwobi, just recirculating possession, prizing an opening potentially anyway. I was going to say Majok coming up against the Asian Champions League defence is one thing, but then Koscielny, Monreal and El Neni is quite another task for the youngster.
Yeah, well, it's quality all round, isn't it? It really is. But I tell you, he's looked lively. He's certainly not looked phased.
Melling strong, draws the foul out of Xhaka and lets him know about the challenge. There you go, Granite. I'm not standing on any ceremony. Well, he's that type of player. He's a combustive type of player, Jacob Melling. You saw it at his time at Adelaide United and indeed Western Sydney before Melbourne City.
He's actually, look, he's done well. He uses his body well. The challenge here that led. There's nothing wrong with that. But Melling, he's showing, he's competing. He's out there giving it his best, and he's not going to be allowed, or he's not going to allow them to push or to try and dominate. And that's good. That's what you want to see.
In the half hour, Western Sydney have kept Arsenal at bay and scoreless at the Olympic Stadium. Bacchus in the path of Risdon. Melling. Majok's free. Good moment this for Western Sydney. Bonaventure peels wide. Near post, the run was made by Kusakami. And that's in behind for a corner. Sweet move by Western Sydney.
And it was a good moment. Arsenal got set, they dropped in. Majok dropped deep, they didn't want to go out. They gave him a lot of space, took up a good position. Was able to play a forward pass.
Here's Jumpai. Near post. Aaron Ramsey got enough on the header. Floated in by Bacchus. Risdon wanted Giroud to come, but he was clever enough to get the pass away to Jumpai and then return the favour. Lacazette takes over, and now Arsenal break. Here's Granit Xhaka, lacking support. Fortunate in the end to
get a free kick there.
Get the free kick.
At the same time, probably Western Sydney Wanderers were fortunate that it didn't go to one of the live wires. You know, one of the pacier players. Xhaka has quality, has huge physical presence. He certainly doesn't have that speed to get away from people by the looks of it.
Western Sydney making Arsenal work for their opportunities, that's for sure. Compact defending and discipline all over the pitch.
I think the important thing is, just over 30 minutes into the game of football, is Arsenal have had good moments and had good spells of possession, but Western Sydney Wanderers have contributed to this game, and they've certainly asked questions of Arsenal.
Wanderers have Perth Glory in round 1 on October the 8th. A couple of weeks later, it's a Sydney derby for them.
I'm sure that'll be played in front of a big crowd as well, Bash.
Saw some drama in the derbies last season, that's for sure. Western Sydney, of course, the only club to lower Sydney FC's colours throughout the season. That's a lovely overlapping run from Montreal. Arsenal are in. Giroud! What a finish, Olivier Giroud. Wonderful, classy, instinctive, and Arsenal have the lead.
And it's a good flow and move down the left-hand side. We spoke a little bit earlier on about Western Sydney Wanderers getting in good early positions defensively and about the cutback. See here, we eventually, it's a cutback. Giroud, that's a fantastic finish. Janjetovic can't do anything about that. The roof of the net. But again, a good pick out here, good spot by Montreal. Rather than looking to fizz it across the box this time, he gets his head up, little cutback, 1-0 Arsenal.
Last season, 12 goals in 29 matches, a couple of the Champions League, a few in the Cup. It wasn't enough for Arsene Wenger not to go shopping. Plenty of speculation, will he be a gunner for too much longer? But Wenger's maintained his faith in Olivier Giroud.
I think as long as the players deliver, I mean, and then maybe at times it just becomes an unbelievable business opportunity, and then it can be done. But you know, you've still got a player that, whether he's playing or not on a regular basis, still comes in, still contributes, still scores goals. And certainly if you want to be successful and you want to be winning trophies and you want to be competitive in Europe, you need more of them than less of them.
Giroud draws the foul brilliantly from Jacob Milling.
I think also maybe after he was limping about in the earlier stages of the game, I think his ankle's all right now after that goal.
It's a pretty good painkiller, isn't it? Finding the back of the net.
That does wonders.
1-0. Granit Xhaka. So a reality check for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Let's see if they can respond positively before the break. Risden to Majok. Here's Hemel pushing up. Good ball in behind, finds Clisby. Off an Arsenal player. Delivers a decent cross. And it was Montreal who was denying Majok and Bonavacia.
It's a good forward run from Clisby and a fantastic ball. Forces Arsenal to defend well. And a great ball in from the wide area.
There's contact on Bonavacia. He looks up to the referee in hope.
It's an interesting one. We see here. I've certainly seen him given. It would have been a soft penalty, but I've certainly seen him given. And I know you would definitely be asking the question, as Bonavacia did.
Giroud gets in front of Hamill. Defensive support coming from back as Giroud keeps his feet. And he just needed another Arsenal shirt in some sort of vicinity, but didn't get it. Well, that must be the most coiffured clipped beard in the Premier League, I reckon, Olivier Giroud. I wonder if he compared notes with Alex Prost the other night.
It's a little bit shorter than our Australian captain as well.
He was a bit bushranger like Ned Kelly like, wasn't he? That's more Champs-Elysees, I reckon. Opens up for Arsenal. He was hacked away by Cornthwaite, and Xhaka looked like he was in.
Starting to get pinned back a little bit, the Wanderers, but when they do have possession, they have a really good opportunity just in front of Arsenal's back 3 or 4, however they're getting set up defensively. They're allowing a lot of space there, so if Bonavacia can start getting on the ball in that area, start being able to turn and face forward, start getting some forward runs from Kusakami, Majok getting on shoulders, I think they can cause Arsenal some problems and get a few sightings at goal.
There's the cry for Ospina. And that's a decent ball. Ramsey's onside, and he scores. What a run. Excellent assist. And Arsenal 2-0 to the good. That is the Gunners at their very best.
Man, they've made it look very, very simple there, haven't they? It's a fantastic long ball. Great forward run from Aaron Ramsey, who we know loves to get forward. Seen him do that so many times. In the end, unfortunately, Janjetovic is in no man's land. It's a good finish. It's a fantastic ball. It really is a fantastic ball from Monreal. But Ramsey being positive, wanting to get on the end of the things. Once he gets there again, he looks up early. You see there, fantastic finish.
Great admiration. The long-range pass by Nacho Monreal. That is pure class.
And because again, you'll talk about if people want to pass it to death. You look, one great ball in behind, catch a team out, and you've got a goal. So I know sometimes it's great, you know, to get those passes, but at the end of the day, it's all about scoring goals.
Well, Arsenal's not known for Route 1, but certainly that paid dividends on that occasion.
What you know, the way that I was brought up, Bashis, like, especially as a central defender. First, can you hit your striker? If you can't hit your striker, can you hit a midfielder? Then your last option is a fullback or having to go back to your goalkeeper.
Well, we mentioned the other night about Arsenal's re-emergence, really, in the back three in the last couple of months of the Premier League season, and also culminating that FA Cup run. Oxlade-Chamberlain. Hamill repelled it, and that's a goal kick for the Wanderers. But yeah, he certainly, that system looked like it suited his defenders in the last campaign at least. He's added to that. We saw with Kolasinac the other night, and obviously the young boy on the left tonight, the wing back. But it's a system that you reckon with the pace out wide that they'll get used to pretty quickly.
Well, when you're dealing with the quality that Arsenal are dealing with, it's great in terms of it gives you some real opportunity to maybe overload some midfield areas, getting bodies forward. It's great to be able to play out, but you also one against one defensively. You need to be physical. You need to be able to handle that battle and be strong defensively as well to be able to get the benefits going forward.
Floated forward by Cornthwaite. Helped on by Lacazette. Melling can't slide it through and opens up the counter-attacking opportunity. Ramsey short, Iwobi. Excellent possession here by Arsenal. Iwobi slicing his way through, but leaving it behind, winning the free kick in the process.
Good tight areas. Still being able to get out, get a free kick there. If he doesn't get the free kick, he's getting the Western Sydney Wanderers back line. Good combination.
In support is Ramsey. Cheeky back heel. Iwobi spots the run of Oxlade-Chamberlain. Short-circuiting that move was Lustiger. Good turn, Bonavaccia. Trying to release Jumpai, but the ball was too heavy for the Japanese winger.
And that's the kind of moments. Jumpai's been very positive. He's been making those runs. Unfortunately, there that pass from Bonavaccia was from a little bit deeper. He's had to try and force it through as well. But they are the moments where Western Sydney Wanderers may be able to get some joy here against Arsenal.
Xhaka spots the run of Maitland-Niles. That's an excellent angle created initially, and the shot on the turn by Giroud, after it was played in by Lacazette, was stinging the palms of Janjetovic.
And he's big and strong there, isn't he? In the area there, Giroud. He gets the opportunity, half a yard there. Great touch. to be able to then turn and get a strike on. Fortunately for Janjetovic, straight at him. But again, Giroud showing that he can be a handful in that area.
Koscielny, Iwobi. It's great ball circulation. Giroud again at the pointy end. Terrific movement by Arsenal. Oxlade-Chamberlain will play it back to Iwobi. Bodies in dangerous areas for the Gunners. Monreal joining in. They want him to shoot. Maitland-Niles has a disappointing end to what was a good spell of possession.
You'll be disappointed with that. You get a ball into a good area. I'm sure his quality normally is a lot better than that. He's found his way slowly into the game. Hasn't been all his way. He's worked hard. His reaction at times when maybe they've lost the ball hasn't been lightning quick. Giroud here gets a sighting at goal.
Conthwaite's been caught. Giroud forced wide, and keeping the arms pinned to the torso was Brendan Hamill. He's had a lively first half, hasn't he, Olivier Giroud?
He's the type of striker where you know he's got goals in his locker. He's always had goals in his locker. He's always testing, and if he can get that ball, and if he's in around about that area, he's big, he's strong, he can create half a yard. We see with the goal, doesn't need much, roof of the net.
Oxlade-Chamberlain, Iwobi. El Neni can strike them. Oh, that's a cruel deflection. 3-0 Arsenal. Janjetovic done by the deflected shot.
And you were right there, Basher. It is cruel. I mean, at the same time, you can't take it away from Arsenal there. And they're asking questions, they're getting in the right areas. But you're right here, you have a look, there's a good layback. The deflection there gives Janjetovic no chance. And at the moment, it sits at 3-0, which I've got to say is not really a true reflection of the first half and the way that Western Sydney Wanderers have performed.
No, off for Brendan Hamill. El Neni scored in that Cup of Nations final to give Egypt the lead over Cameroon that they couldn't hold on to. And he's all smiles, the Egyptian. Now turning on the style, Arsenal, after being kept at bay for the first 25 minutes of the first half. Finished with a flourish.
I was going to say, probably the turning point. I was talking earlier on about Melling and how he got fired up and weren't allowed to be pushed about. But if anything, it's kind of sparked Arsenal into action.
60 seconds of additional time opens up for Jacob Melling. Just off balance when he struck.
And he's unfortunately he's trying ever so hard there, but when he's striking it, he's leaning back on it, which we know is only going to send it high and unfortunately over.
Xhaka angles the ball, helped on by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Audacious touch, releasing Iwobi. They could be in for another. Giroud stretching, as was Conthwaite, knocked down by Lacazette. Giroud surrounded by Wanderers shirts, and Monreal's not going to hit the target with that shot. The last act of the first half, and it has been certainly an exciting 45 minutes of football.
Very much so. I think the Wanderers, they just started to run out of legs a little bit in the back end of that second half. Even that very final action there, Stevie Lustica gets pushed off the ball far too easy. In the end, they're trying to work. Giroud's trying to get that chance on goal. In the end, scrambling defence from the Wanderers. Seen out the first half.
Olivier Giroud started the scoring action, continued by Aaron Ramsey and Mohamed El Neni. At the break, it's Arsenal leading the Wanderers by 3-0. Wonderful long-range ball to find Aaron Ramsey, who finished superbly. There he is, the number 8, getting on the score sheet for Arsenal after Olivier Giroud's opener. And then Mohamed El Neni with a deflected goal to make it 3-0. Olivier Giroud's got a great goal-scoring record as the second half underway. It is Arsenal leading the Western Sydney Wanderers. Giroud with 100 goals in all competitions from 225 matches for Arsenal, adding to that tally tonight.
It's a pretty impressive goal-scoring record there, just sinking in, Bash. That's certainly not a player that I think you'd be rushing to try and get rid of. And we touched on it in the first half. There has been, rumours, stories, but one thing that he has continued to do consistently is to be able to score goals for Arsenal.
Maitland-Niles, Lacazette side down from the back, free kick Arsenal. And he's just so sharp off the first couple of yards. Alexander Lacazette, he must be a nightmare to mark. Josh Risdon lunging in.
And he's going to experience a little bit of that in the UK in the EPL. Challenges in behind there, but again you can see that, one, that he's smart enough, and secondly he's willing to put himself in that position because there is contact in the game and he's going to feel a bit of that, but he looks a very smart and bright player.
Oxlade-Chamberlain, good shape to that, but just needed a more committed run by Lacazette. I mentioned to you off air about the understanding between you and Lucas Neal in the 2006 World Cup. Of course, Tony Popovic, part of that World Cup squad. And the key to defending difficult strikers, well, you found the key in that World Cup. What is it?
Yeah, no, good question. It's I think being able to play against top players week in, week out, test yourself, experience, and being able to see the game. I think understanding match situations as a defender, your decisions that you make can make or break you. It really can, because any major mistake, that normally, as it is for a goalkeeper, you're picking the ball out of your net. So, sometimes that maybe your teammate might not be in the greatest position, but can you be in a position where you can cover and help that? And that's the kind of combinations that we had in the national team back then, that everybody understood their game extremely well. And if a player was caught out, there was cover.
Cornthwaite came out with some, what many thought was inflammatory comments, saying that they'd perform a lot better than Sydney FC the other night. Well, that may be the case, but the result has been worse in the first half of football in any case. Oxlade-Chamberlain caught. Risdon tries to take over. Ramsey with a clever back heel. Oxlade-Chamberlain, excellent touch. Look at the acceleration too. Looking to get past a third Wanderers player. Byline, all class Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he had a good look at it. Jared Gillett, no penalty. And Arsenal fans not too impressed.
No, but it's the right decision. It's the right decision. Chamberlain again, just showing how strong and powerful he can be. And Josh Risdon, who's one of our quickest. He's one of our quickest in the fullback areas.
Lacazette tries to work the corner, which he does achieve for Arsenal. It was that inventive back heel that opened the passage for Oxlade-Chamberlain, but he still had plenty of work to do. El-Neni. Mohamed El-Neni, what a shot! Off the underside of the crossbar, and Giroud can't return the favour. Well, he's that type of player, Mohamed El-Neni, with an eye for goal, either in defence or midfield.
That's a wonderful, wonderful effort here from El-Neni. Realised keeper's off his line, does everything right. Unfortunately, just doesn't go in. I've seen him in the warm-up prior to the Sydney FC game try something similar. So he certainly got it in his locker. Great effort.
centre. Lacazette was one of them.
And that was the simple pass there from Ramsey. Should have found Lacazette, and Lacazette would have been in a very good position. In the end, Western Sydney Wanderers got a little bit lucky there. A bit of sloppiness from Aaron Ramsey.
A real learning curve for Jacob Melling, who tries to play the angled pass to Majok. Of course, Oriol Riera on the bench, the marquee signing for Western Sydney Wanderers. Of course, played in La Liga last season with Osasuna, scored against Real Madrid. And that's surely a free kick on Iwobi. It's being held by Clisby. Arsenal keen to get on with it. Xhaka circulates it to Maitland-Niles, who angles it centrally. Denied by Cornthwaite. Iwobi looks to take on Lustica. Oxlade-Chamberlain in a dangerous area too, and he was uncertain, wasn't he, Josh Risdon?
It's a great ball in by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Great ball in the end. Western Sydney Wanderers managed to see it out, but it's a good ball in a good area.
No wonder they've attracted so many global fans, Arsenal, just the way they play. El Neni once more, this time chips back post. Lacazette's there, keeper's off his line. Janjetovic exposed, and it was hacked away by Risdon.
But I've got to say, that's poor from Western Sydney Wanderers. It's happened a few minutes ago. Exactly the same thing. The ball just rattling off your crossbar, and you allow it to happen again, and then following set piece. El Neni again, the same player, gets in the same position.
Xhaka. Maitland-Niles. He's going to have a lot of competition for that left-sided wing-back position this season. We saw Cohen Bramwell perform so well, and here's Majok on the burst. Oh, just lost his footing at the inopportune moment for him. Outnumbered 2-1, just needed a clean touch and sure footing. He got neither.
That's a shame as well, because Steven Lustica was sprinting his backside off, making up some really good ground. Unfortunately, Majok just lost his footing, and therefore the opportunity for Wanderers.
Audacious touch by Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Giroud tried to return the favour. Throw for Arsenal.
The party tricks there. I mean, they seem to be enjoying themselves, which is what you want to see. Certainly makes them, I believe, in my opinion, a little bit more dangerous as well, because they're playing with a real joy, fearless attitude.
I think that's the key. They play with joy. Obviously, that's the attitude that Wenger encourages, but they've got a lot to prove this season. A lot of ground to make up as well, as we know in the league, finishing 5th. And they play with a joie de vivre, that's for sure, and the joy of football. Koscielny tracking back. Koscielny. Monreal. Maitland-Niles. Lacazette with a touch. Maitland-Niles fancies himself from range, and there was a tame shot at the end off a deflection in the lap of Janjetovic. Hamill under pressure. Positive run for him. Jupai needs a wide option, gets it in the form of Risdon, but he puts his winger under pressure, and it's out for a gunner's throw. before the hour mark. It's Arsenal leading Western Sydney by 3-0. They nearly added to that tally through that cracking strike from Mohamed Al Neni. Lustica takes over. Turnover favours Western Sydney. Here's Risdon. Melling. Just beyond that wide run. Goes centrally though, Bonaventure almost released Jumpai, then had the persistence to win it back. Risdon, good cutback. Glancing ball. Clisby! And he hits the apex of goal. Still not dead there for Western Sydney. Majok! And they escape somehow, Arsenal.
He's given a back pass as well.
It's a back pass, so it'll be a free kick to Western Sydney.
It's a good little spell there. They get into a good area. Clisby, here's Clisby's strike. Strikes it well off the crossbar. Be interesting to see what they do with this free kick here now. Can they work something? Do they go for power, height?
Emiliano Martinez, who we saw in the second half in game one, who's on the pitch for David Ospina. And this is a big opportunity for Western Sydney. Will it be Rolly Bonaventure or Stephen Lustica? They'll be looking for the roof of the net. Well, maybe the low option may play out. It is Lustica, and it stays out. No, second attempt. It's scored. It's a sweet goal for Stephen Lustica as the Wanderers pull one back, and a richly deserved one in the second half.
Yeah, for sure, and gets a little bit of luck there, gets a second bite of the cherry. Very difficult to score the first attempt. Arsenal managed to get the block, fires back out to Lustica, who volleys it to the roof of the net. Good reaction, and certainly well needed, and something that Western Sydney Wanderers will be quite relieved to get that goal, get back into the game, and hopefully slow Arsenal down in their tracks a little bit.
Good reaction, good technique by Stephen Lustica, who had his injury concerns last campaign, but that's a real confidence builder for him. Australian clubs have scored for the first time against the Gunners. Can Western Sydney add to that tally? Giroud asked a lot of Lacazette. Swept out by Risdon.
The Wanderers probably have that good little spell. They're starting to try and get some combinations in some key areas. Forcing Arsenal to think a little bit more about not only going forward, but we do have a bit of work to do defensively.
Been a lot of commentary about pre-season friendly matches, club teams coming to Australia, but you can't do anything but admire the spirit in which Arsenal have approached these two matches, and indeed the spectacle's been brilliant.
Look, they've been fantastic. We've seen teams come and go. There's a good opportunity here for Wanderers.
He's picked his pocket, has Stephen Lustica. Majok's making the support run. Bonaventure as well. Majok's offside. He tried to angle it. You can tell the youngster was trying to stay onside, but he's not too happy with the service.
Yeah, it's a little bit of inexperience there for Majok. He's made the run. He's in an offside position, and I think it was maybe Clisby or another Western Sydney Wanderers player that was bursting in a good position from an onside position. Could have made more of the situation. Slightly inexperienced there.
Another errant pass. El Neni tidied up for Arsenal. Just some mistakes creeping in. We know the fitness is nowhere near at a premium for either team. Situation where substitutes will be made from this point by both clubs. Interesting bench too for Western Sydney. Oriol Riera, as we know, Mark Tokic, the young boy, Chris Hurd, Michael Thwaite, a lot of experience, Kyle Chimenti, Tate Russell, the young defender, Matthew Lecce and Tarek Mayer, who's a midfielder. So plenty of youth team players promoted by Tony Popovic for this match.
We're about to see a few of those substitutes coming on now. Oriol Riera, the marquee player for Western Sydney Wanderers, the first sighting for the Wanderers fans and the Australian public.
Great anticipation. He's already scored against the Olyroos. Oriol Riera, 6'2" in the old language, a Catalan who was a good friend of Lionel Messi through the La Masia, the academy in Barcelona. Barcelona B player, played a Copa del Rey match for FC Barcelona for the great club before starting his winding career in Spain, which ended with Deportivo La Coruña and the loan period with Osasuna, the Basque club, where he scored against Real Madrid last season. But he brings plenty of quality and a great pedigree to the A-League. Jacob Medding replaced by Chris Hurd, who had plenty of premiership experience with Aston Villa under Alex McLeish and other managers.
Yeah, look, Hurd is a player that's still at a very good age. Unfortunately, he's had some injury issues, but still some fantastic experience behind him, and hopefully coming back to Australia and with the Western Sydney Wanderers might kickstart his career again, playing in a more favourable role for himself in terms of coming on as a holder midfielder here. We know he's also played as a right fullback.
Michael Thwaite also on the pitch for the Wanderers. Clisby denies Ramsey. The fans want Mesut Ozil. He was a good player in the first half against the Sky Blues the other night. Koscielny. Iwobi makes the run, but checks back inside. Granit Xhaka, that's a lovely weighted ball. They're getting in each other's way, both Iwobi and Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah, no, it's a good passage there, but you're spot on. In the end, they end up getting in each other's way, and the opportunity goes.
Always a sense of unpredictability when there's mass substitutions. El Nedi tries to slice his way through. Iwobi thinks about the shot. Oxlade-Chamberlain the support. Comeback's useful. Iwobi once more. Lacazette provides the option. And it's driven in low, but cleared by Risdon.
Arsenal starting to ask a few more questions again of Western Sydney Wanderers. There getting into good areas, finding a little bit of time and space. Iwobi there flashes one across goal. Unfortunately, or fortunately for the Wanderers, they managed to deal with that. Looking as if Arsenal are ready to make some wholesale changes.
Zakami wins possession back for the Wanderers. Here's Thwaite to Clisby. Bacchus trying to prize an opening. And the free kick drawn. Foul on Chris Hurd. And there's the gaggle of Gunners looking to come on. Murtasaka amongst them. Here's Hurd. Certainly has come underdone to the club, but will pick up fitness pretty quickly. Errant pass and a turnover in a dangerous area too. Granit Xhaka lifts the eyes and spots the run of Iwobi. Clisby tries to nip in front of Oxlade-Chamberlain. Lustig emerges. Here's Bonaventure.
The work rate.
Riera with that central run. Is he onside? Flag stays down. Oriol Riera thinks about the shot and he gets it away in the end. Martinez was sharp, and that's a nice turn and shot by the Spaniard.
It was good movement. Good movement. He makes a good run in. behind the Arsenal back four. 3. It's close. Tries to get out of his feet there before he turns and gets a good strike on goal.
Thwaite did well, of course, back in the A-League after they changed the foreign player laws in the Chinese Super League. He was released by Liaoning.
He's had a few clubs, hasn't he? Thwaite, and he's always done well, whatever club he's been at in Australia. He has travelled a little bit.
And here we go, Maury.
We'll just go 10 for 10 again.
Mertesacker takes the armband from Koscielny. Lacazette's night's over. Didn't have the same impact as he enjoyed in match 1. And we'll sort them out pretty quickly.
I've got to say, like, watching football, being involved in football for a long, long time, I think at this stage, these exhibition kind of matches or pre-season matches, it's an excellent way to do it. It really is, because at times, we've seen it in international friendlies as well, the changes stops the rhythm of a game.
There's Joe Willock. Siench on the pitch. Mertesacker enjoyed his goal early on. Willock was a live wire in particular in that first half. Coquelin's also on the pitch with Mesut Ozil. It's going to be awfully competitive for first team places at the Emirates this season. Theo Walcott's first touch. Here's Bielik, the Polish youth international. Willock getting himself caught. Riera judged that well. Clever back heel, plays in Lustica. Bonavacia lays it off. Here's Hurd.
It's the wrong ball there from Hurdy. You'll get to know his teammates as the weeks pass there. Jumpai is a player that loves to receive the ball in the little pockets there. He showed he was in a good position to receive the ball. Hurd's got a little bit longer.
Mertesacker, towering defender, but very well balanced. Bielik spots the run. And Ketia. Coquelin. Kolashinas, forward he goes. Walcott almost played in. Bonavacia needs to be assured in possession, which he is. That's a lovely release. Riera's got very little on offer, just has to hold it up and wait for the options to emerge. Thwaite will offer them the ability to have an extra man in midfield, the way he likes to play his football from the back.
Thwaite is another one. You know, he's been used in many different positions throughout his career.
See a lot of Jack Clisby there.
I remember even when he got called into the earlier national teams, he was filling a wing-back role, which I don't think he loved at the time. But, you know, he does have that versatility to his game. He can play as a centre-half. He can play in full-back areas. We know he can play as a holding midfielder as well.
Willock. Ozil, he oozed class in match 1, as he's done so often for both club and country. Kolashinas. Here's Nketiah. Good feet to get out of that challenge from Josh Risden, who flooded into him at the second attempt. Willock did well. Squeeze out wide to Ozil. Interception once more there by Lustica. Arsenal push forward. Danny Welbeck on the pitch. And that host of moves by Arsene Wenger.
This is where you find a good controlled possession from Arsenal. Eventually they'll need to get into an area. They'll need to start making forward runs. Pass and move. You start shifting defences.
Ball clipped back post, and Nketiah knocks it down. Intelligent ball, but he was just waiting for the run to emerge.
It's a fantastic knockdown. Chris Hurd gets himself in a very good position defensively. Riera again shows a great touch there. Again, he's looked intelligent. He's looked a smart player in the couple of touches he's already had in the game. His movement, knowing when to get on shoulders. Bit of physicality about him as well there. Getting up and winning a good header to bring his teammate into play.
Backus spots the long-range run of Riera. Just a better first touch would have seen him push forward ahead of Nketiah. But he's making the run. That's the most important thing, the most positive sign for Tony Popovic.
You're right. You can make runs, but you've got to make a run where you're in a position where you can make an impact. So he's not running into a dead end, so to speak. He's getting on the shoulder of the defender. So if he receives it, once he gets a little bit sharper, he can start to get away from people. But his movement, his awareness of space seems very good.
Lovely ball, Ozil. Here's Welbeck. And flashes a cross-come shot to the back post. Reece Nelson operating on the right. We saw what he did against Sydney FC. Here he is on the ball. Tries to nutmeg Backus. Western Sydney win it back.
The thing is, he's a young lad playing at the highest level. The important thing is he was unbelievable the last game. Now, even if he has 20, 25 minutes, can you be consistent? Can you be neat and tidy in everything you do? Can you repeat that performance? That's a challenge for young players, not only in Australia but throughout the world, is to be able to be consistent. That's really key to become a good professional. 2 in 5, 1 in 5 is not good enough.
And that's what he will have to be if he's going to force his way into the senior reckoning for Arsene Wenger. 35 youth matches last season for Arsenal, including 8 or so at under 23 level.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He looks a fantastic talent. He's at a good place where he can learn without being intimately in their environment. Obviously, Arsene Wenger over the years has shown the record that he has in developing players.
Thwaite forced to scramble. Clisby on his heels. Here's Chris Hurd. Willock with fabulous skill. Nelson. And they march through Welbeck, but good positioning by Kieran Backus. And Lustig is still full of run for Western Sydney. Left that behind. Opens the door here for Ozil. Walcott's first touch was out of pressure, and then he slams his way through Theo Walcott. He tries to slip Nketiah, but just a little bit heavy with the touch.
His lead-up play there was unbelievable, Theo Walcott. The way he used his body, the way he was able to move and to get away from defenders. In the end, the final ball maybe wasn't there, but you look here. Awareness, moving the ball away, getting your body in between, and away you go again. He's unfortunately not to pick the right pass here or the right weight. That's fantastic play.
Helped on by Welbeck. Novacia under pressure, then spots the run of Riera. Flag stays down on the Spaniard. Good first touch, and he drags the shot, but it was a good piece of work to open up the angle for Oriol Riera.
And it's good movement. It's good movement again. Gets himself in a good area. Looks as if he's going to have an attempt on goal. You see, good running behind. Fakes, comes back inside. Okay, he doesn't catch the volley as nice as what he would have, but good movement, showing the possibilities for Western Sydney Wanderers.
83,221 memory, it eclipses the crowd by a few thousand the other night. Over 160,000 to 2 football matches, friendly matches, is quite an achievement. Shows the global pulling power of Arsenal. Nketiah, the wrong option to Walcott. Bonaventure comes out. He used to play it back in the end. There wasn't a lot on offer, a lot of movement in midfield. Janjetovic has had a tough night between the posts, had to deal with that deflected shot by El Nedi, who made it 3-0, and after
he gets caught there.
Aaron Ramsey scored the second.
There's Mertesacker, who's got so much experience. Goes up, a little bit of contact. There's challenges that you see day in, day out.
Offside is Jumpai.
But it's better. It's better from the Wanderers. It's positive. It's getting into those spaces. Arsenal are leaving some openings in those areas, not filling the back area as well. And Western Sydney Wanderers start to exploit that willingness to make those forward runs.
By Kieran Backus. He really did improve last season. He was one that having high hopes for Tony Popovic and Andres Carrasco, and he showed he was a clear first teamer by season's end.
Backus, he done excellent, because I would imagine that at halfway through the campaign he was probably looking to see where his options were, and maybe there wasn't a future at Western Sydney Wanderers, but he really buckled down, and he was a big part in why Western Sydney Wanderers probably finished the season so well. Always in a position to receive the ball, got good engine, covers the ground well, and he was very reliable.
Kolasinac, one of their high-profile signings from Schalke, the Bosnian international, who unfortunately for him scored an own goal against Argentina at the Maracanã at the 2014 World Cup. Here's Bielik, who's hoping to get to those levels with the Polish senior team, but youth level at the moment. Nketiah. Solid defensive block for Western Sydney. Can Arsenal pierce it? Willock looks to shift it wide, but in the way there was Jack Clesby. Bielik spots the run of Nketiah. Taken well on the chest and was teasing Josh Risden in the end, who was happy to concede the corner.
Bielik's got a wonderful range of passing. He's picked out a couple of players now for Arsenal, longer range of pass, but dropping it right on target. And it's good quality when you've got central defenders and able to pick players out like that.
Well worked. Nelson hangs it up, back post. Janjetovic came, but he wasn't that convincing.
Yeah, no, he wasn't that convincing. And again, Western Sydney Wanderers probably asleep there at that corner. Again, Arsenal seem to get in a very good position early in their box.
Any hesitation of this against this quality of opposition can prove fatal. Janjetovic got away with it, and the score remains 3-1.
It's like anything. You go through your structures, you go through your patterns. The coaches can't do everything for you, though. There's things that happen out there on the football field where you need to take initiative. It's not something that maybe you've necessarily worked on the training ground, but danger. You've got to sense danger. You've got to be able to protect your goal, and allowing time and space in your own 18-yard box is suicide.
Seen that. Bielak looks for that diagonal ball, killed beautifully by Coquelin. Nketiah with some dazzling feet, but can't get past Cornthwaite. Coquelin joins in, opens up for Theo Walcott, who tries to curl the shot top right-hand corner. And Janjetovic knew what was coming.
He's in a good position, makes a good save. See Theo Walcott just trying to open up his body there and try and feed it into that far post area. Just couldn't get enough of it.
Nelson. Lovely disguise on the pass there from Ozil. Didn't come off that occasion for Arsenal. Bonaventure has done well second half. Has protected possession for the Wanderers. Precious commodity against Arsenal.
Yeah, we'll be thinking that how are Western Sydney Wanderers going to come out in the second half? Are they going to press high? Are they going to drop deep? They've not done either. They've just played a better all-round game, and they've been tidier in possession and got little free kicks just like we see there, which has allowed the game to settle a little bit more. The goal obviously as well. Better performance from the Wanderers.
Hurd tries the direct route. Lustig was making the run, trying to join in there. Bonaventure, very game. May have injured himself in the process, but gets up pretty quickly. And Nketiah looks to get on with it. Asked a lot of Danny Welbeck. Cornthwaite arrives first.
Safe defending that from Cornthwaite. Didn't fancy a little step over Bash and then back to the goalkeeper.
Probably not at this stage. They've done well second half, Western Sydney. Hurd. He does look short of a gallop, that's for sure. Welbeck steals possession. Ozil, lovely feet, wonderful technique and superb imagination. Kolasinac, and Bacchus, as he's done so often for Western Sydney, short circuits the move, or does he? Need to clear his lines there. Kieran Bacchus. Chris Hurd going down. Jumpai emerges, opens up for Willock. And that's a clear free kick. Will be a yellow card as well on Robbie Cornthwaite.
Yeah, it's called a professional foul. It's a clever foul. It is a clever foul because certainly a clear sighting on goal it would have been for Arsenal. Maybe the fourth goal even. So clever foul from Cornthwaite. Normally it would be a yellow card, but in these type of matches, free kick certainly sufficient there. As you can see, Willock would have been pulling the trigger there, and he had clear sighting at goal, and you'd like to think he could probably put it away from there as well. So the foul had to be made.
Not booked, so a bit of generosity from the referee, but it is a friendly match. Janjetovic under pressure. Set piece opens the door for Arsenal. They hit the upright, and that was ever so close for Mesut Ozil.
And look, it's just quality, isn't it, from Ozil there? He does enough just to get it over the wall. It doesn't have a huge amount of pace, but clears the wall. Janjetovic, absolutely zero chance. The post is the one that saves him there. And the rebound, unfortunately, for Arsenal, doesn't hit the back of the net.
Tate Russell coming on, one of the young defenders for Western Sydney from the academy. Father played senior rugby league in New South Wales for the Illawarra Steelers. Hope to see him on the pitch for the remaining minutes. Here's Welbeck. Willock leaves it for Ozil. Coquelin. Nketiah is onside. Kolasinac Gets his big frame in the way, and Kedia pulls the trigger, but just wasn't sharp enough to beat the defensive wall of Western Sydney. Walcott, good pressure by Hurd. Driving into space, and they picked out a free kick. He was looking for any advantage to accrue was Jared Gillett, but he's pulled it back for an Arsenal free kick.
They've upped it in the last few minutes, Arsenal. And a free kick from Cornthwaite there, but they're just starting to, the combinations are coming again. Playing on the edge of the Wanderers' 18-yard box. There's passing, there's moving, there's third man runs.
I think this is a better angle for Mesut Ozil.
See, Janjetovic has got to be brave here now. He set his wall up. He's got to back his wall. He's got to make sure he looks after his side.
It is Ozil, and it's a poorly taken free kick. As he clips it in, and Mertesacker looking to score in consecutive matches. It was a delightful ball, and he made a decent run, the hulking centre half.
Gets himself in a good area there. Welbeck again, just really clever there. He's being marked. He knows that he's not going to get on the end of it, but he actually gets a block, enough contact there to make sure that Mertesacker gets a free header. Could have done better.
Vierling wants to thread the needle once more. Bonaventure's there to release Lustica. He's had a decent match, Stephen Lustica.
Tell you what, he's been one player that hasn't showed or hasn't looked like he's going to slow down.
Ozil hauled down by Kieran Backus, free kick Arsenal. Of course, missed the Confederations Cup, Mesut Ozil. Jurgi Löw resting some of his key players after what has been a pretty arduous European qualifying period in World Cup football. Mark Tokic, who's a highly credentialed young player, won the National Youth League Player of the Season for the Centre of Excellence, and originally from Canberra, highly rated.
Yeah, no, he's a very good talent, very good talent. He's actually looks as if he's grown a little bit more since the last time I've seen him, and also put on a little bit of size, but can play as a 6, but also in the position of an 8. He does have the legs, he can get forward, he can play box to box, but very good young talent.
Willock runs into Hurd. Riera assured. Not so Jumpai. And Kedia takes over. Was forced to check inside. There was not too much on offer. Arsenal looking to add to their 3-goal tally in the first half. They haven't done so as yet. Deflected ball by Coquelin. Kolashinas to Nketiah. Sharp feet by the young striker. Here's Kolashinas. Opens up for Walcott. And that's a terrific save, Janjetovic. Turning it wide. Denying Arsenal's 4th.
And it's brilliant play. It's brilliant play. It really is. The combinations in the 18-yard box of Western Sydney Wanderers, the confidence, the ability to pick people out, nearly finishes with a perfect Arsenal-like goal.
Nelson lost his footing. Here's the first touches for Tokic. Overawed by the moment, perhaps. Well back on his heels. Thwaite defending. Attempted 1-2 between he and Willock. That's careless. High clearance.
Yeah, it's careless. You work so hard. Everyone's tired.
Welbeck, cutback is good. Ozil, Nketiah against the upright once more. Walcott has his shot blocked by Robbie Cornthwaite. The attacking juices are really flowing for Arsenal, but they're not being rewarded.
Yeah, and again, that does come. It's tired, it's late in the game. Western Sydney Wanderers cough up.
Willock! And goes very close to the Gunners' 4th.
It's waiting for the net to bulge there. Looked as if it was on, but look, this is, again, it's great. It's great play. Off the back of, again, some poor play from the Wanderers trying to play up, coughing up early possession. I tell you what, that was close. It had whip, it had tail. Unfortunately, the distance didn't have enough time to turn.
Nketiah, who had that previous chance, top scorer for Arsenal, the under-18 Premier League, 24 goals, former Chelsea youth player. So the Gunners will be pretty cock-a-hoop about winning his services, given what we've seen. There he is.
He's been excellent. It's just been a role reversal from the game against Sydney FC, where they were very strong down the right flank with Nelson. Tonight it's been the opposite, certainly in the latter stages of the game here. The left-hand side, the attacking areas has been very good. The range of pass and the quality out there has been fantastic.
Ozil, will he shoot? No, he doesn't. Walcott should step it in, but again, it's very sharp from Janjetovic. Wanting to pass the ball into the net, Arsenal. They may get a chance, and Nketiah this time. And an important intercept from Michael Thwaite, who thought he may have scored an own goal at one stage as he just fizzed past the near upright.
It's a great ball from Ozil there. Good save, very good save from Janjetovic. Made a good decision, come out early.
Ozil short. Time running out for the Gunners. Walcott hangs it up. And that may be the last act of this match. Played 92 minutes, and it has been thoroughly entertaining. 2 matches of high quality by the Gunners. They've engaged the public.